Conscious collaboration brings together entrepreneurs, changemakers, and thought leaders. We aim to highlight the people that embody the idea of aligned mind, body, and business. Each week, we share, discuss, and learn from the various experiences and ideas of our guest experts. Through our discovery, we find a path to an aligned mind, body, and business.
What up, y'all? This is Emily.
And I'm Lisa, and we are the Conscious Collaboration.
Yes.
Yes, girl. Yes. And we brought a friend with us today. And I'm so excited to introduce. Yeah, you guys can't see him, but you should, because he's got a look.
They will soon.
Yes, you will soon. It's, that's on me.
Because he's very good looking.
Oh, listen to that podcast voice. This is Keith Fonseca, also known as DJ Debt Free. We're calling him a movement. He's a movement maker, a mentor, and a dating disruptor who's deeply passionate about helping people find real connection in a world full of noise. So how about that, Keith? Did you like that introduction?
Yeah, it's specifically like the air horn as the noise.
Yeah. We do our own sound effects here at the Conscious Collaboration podcast.
I know. When you listen to us, you think, how do they do it? But it's with our mouths.
In fact, anytime you guys want me to break in with the actual air horn, I'll just share my screen.
Oh, you've got one like hidden under your desk there?
No, I've got an entire DJ setup on this MacBook.
Oh, perfect. Oh
my gosh, let's do it. You are, yes, DJ Debt Free. Let's mix in some sound effects while we have you. This is meant to be.
We do need to drop a track, a Conscious Collaboration track.
Well, we could certainly dance this thing out if you like. You just have to let me be able to share. That's all.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So Keith, we met on Facebook. And we've been chatting for quite a while. Mm-hmm. I really, really love all that you have going on. I mean, it's a lot. Emily and I really like that. We like to have multiple plates spinning, and yet they're all interconnected. And so you have that going on.
I do.
And specifically, when you and I were talking in the pre-chat, we thought this would be a good opportunity to share with the listeners just some insight guidance around intimacy, and that, everybody's been reaching out and seeking deeper connections. Everything has gotten so surface level. A lot of people are feeling isolated, even in a crowded room. What are your insights on that? What have you been seeing?
Well, if you don't mind, first let me sort of give you sort of a background so that it doesn't just come from nowhere, right? Yeah. So I'm born and raised in Canada, moved to the United States in 1991 with my parents and my two brothers in 2002. So about 11 years later, my brother was hit by a drunk driver, 3 weeks in a coma. Wow. And at the time, I was about 300 pounds, not able to handle anxiety, stress. I just completed a master's degree in recreation and sport management, and I was working at a college and university helping college students kind of have some fun, get some relax through recreation. And so my brother's experience, why I bring that up, he went through 30 surgeries over a 12-week span, and during that time, I did gastric bypass. Right. So I went from 310 to 170 in about a year. And wow. I found myself being way more physically attractive to the world around me and spiritually bankrupt internally. Mm-hmm. And so that brought about a real new experience on thinking about what is intimacy, what is connection, what is vulnerability, because I basically had none. There was zero availability to connect with others. So Now the story goes in 2008, I have a pinch in my groin. Doctor messes up a hernia repair. 6 weeks later, I'm 129 pounds. I go see a special surgeon, and she tells me I'm sepsis with infection and that I've got about 48 hours to live. So at
Gosh.
that point, I say, okay, let's go, doc. Either I'm going to die in 2 days or you're going to save my life. And she did. Following that, I had 3 repair surgeries on my abdomen that led to painkiller addiction. So for 3.5 to 4 years, I was basically addicted to painkillers. The most that I took at one time was 35 in one swallow.
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
most sane people would look at that and go like, whoa, were you trying to kill yourself? And the answer was no, I was just trying not to feel.
Mhm.
And I'm going to bring this full circle to the pandemic and technology on your question about intimacy, but I've got great experience on how not to feel, right?
Mhm.
So now we go
Mm.
through 4 years of that, and just one day, my life was so savagely broken. No job, no hope, no insurance, no nothing. Living with my girlfriend at the time, who we broke up in 14, still very loyal to as a friend. Here we are in 2025. She's like a sister to me. And I just got on my knees because my mother said, I don't know how to help you. You better pray to God. So I just got on my knees and I prayed to God, like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I didn't realize at the time what I was asking for, right? What I thought I was asking for was get me freedom from drugs. But what I realized I was asking for was get me in touch with my feelings and who I am, past pain, trauma, all of that, and learn how to deal with it without drugs. That was a new experience, to say the least. So here we are. We're almost 12 years clean. And I can say my higher power has definitely brought me through a lot of challenging things. In 16, that brother passed away at 41 years old. Heard the police come in and pronounce him dead from 3,000 miles away.
Mm.
In 2020, that's him. If you ever put up the podcast.
Oh. Mhm.
Yeah, my business is named AJF Financial Group, which stands for Andrew Joseph Fonseca. It's named after him. Everything I do is in honor of him, and his ashes are here around my neck in that heart.
Oh.
You'll notice there's 2 charms. The other one is a cross, which I just put on as of last week, and that's because my mother passed away on December 4th of this year,
Mm.
after guiding me for a number of years, me serving as her uh, caregiver for the last 2 years, her and my dad. 54 years of marriage. 7 weeks ago, I discovered she had cancer. I flew to Ottawa, sat with her, made the decision with her as her power of attorney that we weren't going to treat it, and 7 weeks later, she passed. So in 2016, my brother passes. In 2020, my other brother, who's still alive, his wife, said she felt sick. This was 6 days into the pandemic. She went to the bathroom and never came out. Died at 41 years old on the toilet right there and then.
Oh my
She also
gosh.
had a sepsis infection. Nobody knew. We thought she just had strep throat. Hour and a half after her passing, police left. They were terrified. It's 6 days into the pandemic. I'm
Mhm.
left with a father who can barely speak, a brother who's just lost his wife in a blink of an eye, my mother who was slipping into dementia, no one knew it, and a dead body. And I had to
Mhm.
take care of all of it. In 2023, not only did my best friend and business partner steal the business that I had created and sold it to $1 billion company without me, he was my sponsor in NA. I didn't ever have a closer relationship than that. And my other best friend, my first cousin, who was about the same age as me, had 26 heart attacks in one night and died.
What?
So, in the last 10 years, I've lost my brother at 41, my other brother's wife at 40, my best friend cousin at 52, and my absolute best friend betrayed and stole everything, got me terminated. They took $2 million
Mhm.
of stock back from me. And today I live with more joy, gratitude, and passion than ever before.
Mhm.
Right? So I laid the foundation on that to your question about intimacy. I'm a big self studier. right? So I watch YouTube. The greatest university on earth is called YouTube, and it's 100% free. And I listen to the podcast. I sometimes a curse word will slip out. So you said you don't edit. I'm doing my best not to get
It's
overly passionate.
okay.
Okay.
We can be adult content if we need to be.
Yeah, thank you very much. So essentially, I wanted to put all that in front of you because this idea that intimacy is hard is bullshit. It's really, I live by what I call the victimless code, right? Mindfest Manifesto #1 means I'm in charge of everything in my life: choices, people, circumstances, situations. Even when someone says to me, well, I don't have control over others, you don't. But we do have control on what we tolerate, who we bring around us. My brother has found 2 dead bodies, and earlier this year I said to him, listen, bro, mom and dad are going to pass. Mom just passed. I don't know if I give my dad more than 6 months. Said, after that, it's going to be you and I can either have you in my life or I can live a wonderful life without you. It's completely up to you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called drawing a real boundary for self, right? Boundaries are not meant for other people. They're meant for self. They're meant to create our best life. They're not meant to be weaponized. They're meant for us to be able to manage ourselves into joy and peace and excitement. But the reason I share all that story is to give you a perspective on my answers come from both depth and authenticity. Okay. I am a big believer that I cannot live a great amount of love or intimacy until I've also been okay with living a great amount of pain and disconnection. Those go hand in hand. It's Newton's law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So, yes, I have studied psychology. I did study to become a therapist. Yes, I have counseled people all across this country without a degree or a license or anything. At one time, I was taking calls from 11 women who were all getting divorced at the same time, seeking my direction. I don't call it advice. I'm not even a suggestion person. I'm excuse me, dears, a motherfucking truth teller. And the truth is painful. So back to your question, right? Here was the pandemic, and into the pandemic was this belief. Now, I don't know if you guys live down here in Florida. I was living in the Northeast in New Jersey. And so it was very serious and real, right? We were wearing gloves to go to the grocery store. I remember picking up a loaf of bread and thinking, like, am I going to die from touching this loaf of bread? That's how big mass hysteria was, right? I don't look to turn this political. I'm just saying it was scary. And so during the pandemic was the end, or at least the reach the peak level of the Me Too movement. Okay, so everything I talk about is pretty scientific, right? I'll come at this emotionally, but scientifically speaking, if you go look up history, the end or like the height of the Me Too movement was the pandemic. Okay. And that was a very important time because no more was anyone supposed to stay quiet for any of that stuff. I know it's centralized and focused on women's rights and issues, but it's really for everybody, right? It's like a guy passes away and we popularize Black Lives Matter, but we all know all lives matter. It doesn't matter if you're, but at that time, that movement centered on that. So now we get to the height of this Me Too movement, and we get the popularization of words like gaslighting, narcissism, boundaries, triggers, all of that stuff, right? Tony Robbins says absolutely no one can trigger you. Just think about that. I carry me wherever I go. I don't know if you've ever seen Austin Powers. He goes, wherever I go, there I am. Allow myself to introduce myself, right? And so self-awareness is super key. And that's all I've worked on for the past 15 years. And so why am I bringing this up? Because now we're at the height of this Me Too movement. Now we get locked in our rooms behind a keyboard, and slowly the dehumanization of society begins. Where even right now, I feel like I'm in the same room with both you, Lisa, and Emily. I feel a certain amount of connection, but I'm literally staring at a screen emitting Blu-rays at my face. And I would
Mhm.
never know that we've never physically shaken hands, right, Lisa? You and I have never physically been in
We've
the
never
same room.
met. Yeah. In
Yeah.
person. Yeah.
But essentially, there is a monicum of feeling like we know each other
Sure. Yeah.
through
Yeah.
text, through
Hmm.
video, through whatever. And so that subtle shift in human society in which screens have replaced scent, right? That's why I made the joke earlier. I smell delicious. You would never know
That's right.
across the screen,
Right.
but that is one of the five senses: taste,
Right.
touch, feel, sight, sound. So you've got
Yeah.
sight and you've got sound, right? I don't know much about this podcast enough to suggest we're going to taste each other, but that's a whole nother story for hopefully that makes somebody smile out there in listener land. But sight and sound are here, but smell and touch don't exist. So essentially, I'm living in the matrix during pandemic, and I'm being taught a new set of skills that says, let me connect with someone across the internet, like a dating app,
Mhm.
like social media. And the next thing you know, I'm getting nasty messages. How dare you click add friend? I've never met you in life. I'm like, listen, your
Uh,
beef is with Mark Zuckerberg. It's not me, right? The social
yeah.
media platform offers me a button that says add friend, but that's creepy. I'm like, what the hell do I know about creepy? I see your thing. Your face showed up in my algorithm. You look like an
Mhm.
interesting person. I'm going to click add friend.
Mhm.
And right there is a perfect example of how intimacy is destroyed, because what feels intimate to one person feels intimate to another, and we don't have this understanding anymore of what that real connection looks and feels like because we're all living across cell phones.
Mhm.
I'm just going to interject with a little thought here because I've heard this a lot recently. But in the context of the dating apps in particular, I listen to a lot of uh, nutrition, wellness, fitness related content, and some of the main ones I listen to are referring to dating apps now and the way that that whole universe is trending as the ultra processed food version of like real relationships, which would be the whole natural foods
Mm-hmm.
in this analogy.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
What a great point. I'm a big believer in AI, right? I own a marketing company. I build apps. I use AI. We joked around that there was AI like listening and giving us feedback on this talk here.
Mhm.
Um, but essentially, I go to ChatGPT, which is about as non-human as it can get, and I've trained it to understand me. So when I ask it questions, it really comes back with stuff related to Keith's version of vulnerability, intimacy, and whatever. And lately, it's broken down how the nervous system is affected by different human behaviors. And so, thanks to your point of food, right? Our nervous system has been affected by the type of food we eat, the way food is processed, the change in food. Our nervous system is affected by the amount of sleep that we get and how we sleep and what is viewed as proper amount of sleep. Our nervous system is affected by it was coming for the last 30, 40 years, the microwave society that we're in. I want it now. I want it fast. I want exactly what I want. And if you can't do it my way, you're not Burger King and I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
today I saw, Lisa, what you posted into the group for asking questions. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And you said
Yeah, of
something
course.
about ick. And I just went to ChatGPT and I was like, what does this mean? What is
I
the
saw
ick?
that. Yeah,
You
that
saw
was
its
cool.
response?
Yeah, I did. That was cool. You've sent those responses to me a few times when we've had conversations, and I mean, I like the way that you use AI, and I think it's certainly like can be guided as a tool using your framework so that it's relevant and it's giving useful information. And I like what it had to say, because I have a lot of friends that are dating, a lot of clients that are dating. I'm in a lot of those circles, matchmaking circles, and it comes up so quickly. Like people wear it as like an armor, like, well, I got the ick, so therefore it's over. So go ahead, continue about the ick, but it's such a, it's such a intimacy stopping term that people experience that, to your point, I'm not even quite sure they understand.
Well, I started a little like series, right? And I don't want to get too far from what we're talking about, but I started a little series I call Keith Asks Chat,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? And so the question today was navigating the ick and the
Mhm.
intimacy blocks. What does
Right.
that mean? Right? The ick is fast, loud, and usually pretty on the surface, the way they chew, a comment that lands wrong, a vibe shift.
Yeah.
Underneath, it's
A
rarely about the
Velcro
thing
wallet.
itself, right? And
That's
so,
like the thing.
go ahead.
The Velcro wallet is like
The
the thing,
Velcro
Emily.
wallet. I've heard that come up in a million
Multiple circles. Yeah.
conversations
I
about
can't
the
believe
person
he
gets the
reached
ick
for
because he
his
pulled out
phone
a,
at dinner.
yeah,
There's
or
no
the
way I could
cheesecake
ever date
factory,
him.
taking somebody to the cheesecake factory, which I happen to think there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Is that an ick?
That's what I've heard.
We don't know. People have icks about odd things. I mean, it can be Velcro wallets, it can be scent, it can be an accent or I mean anything. And I don't know. I feel like it's an excuse or a barrier, like an easy out.
Mhm.
I don't know much about the metrics of your listeners, but I think about like my icks when I was in my 20s
Mhm.
Mhm.
versus my ick now that I'm in my 50s. Don't
Mhm.
tell anybody I'm in my 50s, please.
Yeah, I don't even believe you because I
Thank
think you're
you.
just 35. So,
Well,
okay, go
your
ahead.
icks would naturally change just along with your value systems as a whole, I think. And I hope that most of us have value systems that evolve after our 20s.
Well, what would you say are the top three things for you, Emily? Right? I was informed that you're dating. What would you say is the top three things for you in a value system alignment of evaluating people while you're on a first date?
Now, 100,000,000% different than what would have been in my 20s, which I would have never even sat down and tried to make myself aware of these things in my 20s. But all right, if we're going to rapid fire this, I would say now consistency, right? Um, and you could apply that, I think, in a multitude of ways. Consistency in, you know, behaviors and frequency of communication and consistency between what is between actions and words, right? That sort of thing. So consistency is something important that I look for. Um, this was the question, right? Like where you wanted me to go with this, like kind
Well,
of
can we dive into consistency? Do you mind?
yeah.
Okay. Listeners, please forgive me if suddenly DJ Defrey's taken over the podcast here and Emily's
Let's
now
do
the
a
guest.
reverse interview.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
no, there's all kinds of
Well, I did say I wanted to come on because I've been doing podcasts for years in a multiple of niches. And look, this is valuable stuff. So when you say consistency of
yep.
communication, you mean like if you send someone a text, right, you expect a text back.
That's not necessarily what I mean,
Okay.
because I do realize and accept, and I'm totally fine with people like those kind of specifics, like person A might be prefer texting,
Yep.
whereas person B might prefer talking on the phone or whatever, whatever that is. So that's not necessarily what I mean. And I also, being a person who is very busy, like I don't answer text right away unless I've filtered it to be an urgent type of thing. So I think I mean more like, and what I've encountered in the real world is where, like, say somebody will start by using whatever modality they like to use, and let's say they're texting at a certain frequency or a certain style, and then 4, 5, 6 weeks later, and this happens all the time, like all of a sudden that changes, whatever that frequency, style, modality that they've established changes without warning or without explanation. Not that people owe me explanations, but that is data, right? Like,
That's human behavior.
Observing. So
We fear what we don't know. Okay, so what does that represent to you? You said 4 or 5 weeks. At least I don't know if you saw my eyes go up. 4, 5, 6 weeks. Holy shnikes. All right, somebody's really hanging in here. That's great. And you're giving them opportunity. I think that's beautiful. Now, 6 weeks in, that consistency in communication changes. I can only assume it means it went down. Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Okay, what does that mean to you? What does that represent?
Well, in my more recently evolved way of thinking, where I'm not going to immediately start spiraling, right? And just kind of making up my own stories for what that means. Well, I try to find out. I just ask. If I have a question, I just ask it. And then, the way the person handles that is kind of what I would use to determine my next moves, right? Like, are they, like, all of a sudden really defensive that I'm like, hey, I noticed XYZ, like, what's up?
Yeah.
Cool? Or
okay.
like, how do they handle that? Do they freak out? Do they run away? Whatever, or are they like, oh no, I just had XYZ going on. And okay, now that totally makes sense. So that's how I would handle and receive that. Now I would just seek more information in a emotionally stable way.
Do you think that it might represent to you that they're just not that into you?
Yeah, good. Absolutely.
Right? I mean,
And
I think that's what like most people get to. Like somebody stop, a guy, right? We're talking man woman here. I know there's woman man man. I don't have experience with those. So I'll talk man woman here, right?
yeah.
And we could counterpoint, and Lisa, I have a question for you on this because I think you're seeing somebody and you would have a different entirely perspective
I have
on
my
this.
own framework, but I like to think myself a little alternative in how I deal with things, and I think Emily too.
Sure.
Go ahead.
First of all, Emily, thank you for your vulnerability on using the word spiral. Spiraling is a normal human reaction. I spiral about 3 times an hour.
Yeah, I mean, I would, and Mercurian ruled over here, so I can live a lot up in here in the mind, is where I'm pointing to. So, I would fully previously, like, make up entire scenarios that I had no no facts in front of me to it could, these things could have been one of an infinite amount of things that could be going on, but I would just fully make up in my head, what it meant and what was going on. And then, but there's a lot involved there. I think when you kind of know that it's because they're not that into you, or deep down it's because they got something else going on, but nefarious, or what have you, and you want to hang on to the situation or the relationship. And so or I would previously very intentionally drag something out for, God, I've dragged things out for a long time, like a year, uh, without actually, asking the needed questions. And so then the spirals become self-inflicted. Like, really, the whole situation becomes self-inflicted at that point, just because you're like, you don't actually want to hear the answer.
Let's flip it on its head for a second. Okay. What if that person, sooner than this point, is texting you 3 for every 1 you send?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's this great ick out there.
If,
I see it on your face.
if
It's coming.
stage fright clinger, like that's a pretty quick way to push me away.
I do that to you, Emily.
I mean, that's a very air trait, I think. Like, well, and that's happened too. And I can give you some rough examples of that, but there was a couple people at once. My most recent, like, dipping my toes back into the dating app universe, where I had a couple of people who were like aggressively communicative. No, I shouldn't say it like that. It wasn't aggressive communication, but like just really laying it on thick. You know what I mean? Like, and even one of them, before we even met, and just like, oh, like sending me long elaborate voice messages, like before and after work, and trying to remember little details about, oh, how'd your such and such go today, and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, this would be cool if we had met, gone on a couple dates, if we were really like both into each other, and like this would be a great, like, textbook, like, yeah, this is how I would want you to communicate. But I'm like, how could you possibly know this? And we haven't even met yet. Like, how could you possibly think that I'm this great? I could be a damn catfish for all you know.
He hasn't even met you.
Like, we've been doing the voice.
Well, now I wish the audience could see your face right now as you said catfish, because I don't know what is and isn't a catfish for certain people. I certainly have had my experiences.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to present somebody, whether you're fully like behind a different identity, or I guess it's a spectrum. I don't know. I'm not the person who defines catfish, but I think any
misrepresentation of
presenting yourself as someone that you're not.
Yeah.
Okay, I listen. I'm sorry, Lisa, if it seems like I've taken over here.
I'm enjoying this.
Good. I wanted to hear
also
the perspective of a quote unquote single lady who's in the dating pool talking about icks. And here's what all the single ladies,
I did the Beyonce.
Here's my take on what I just heard. Right. First of all, I listened to I listened to a lot of stuff. I'm very absorbent. I've got a high EQ, a high IQ, all of that good stuff. I get the question all the time, why are you still single? And it's like, well, the hell should I know? But here's what I just learned from what I just heard. An alignment of who I am and what I value is really important to me in terms of communication styles, frequency, depth, amount. In leading a singles group, Singles in Tampa, it's on Facebook. Any of your listeners who are single are welcome to apply to join. I very much am pushing meeting in person. There's no like conversation on the page. People want to DM offline. That's not, my purview. And it isn't about dating. It's about being single and being around other singles, right? My moniker is don't sit at home, come sit with us. Singles in Tampa, sit. Don't sit at home, come sit with us,
I
right?
love that.
And
Everybody's so friendly too, I want to say. Like the people that attend your
all
experiences,
the all the guys that are hitting on you, not knowing that you're in a relationship, and I put you in the
well,
group to get
I, I
for
will
the
say
podcast.
no one has hit on me aggressively. I just wanted to, make it like how
Oh, that's
many
probably
times?
because I knew you were in a thing, so I decided. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Actually, I did ask you out, not knowing, right? And some people
Yes, I
appreciate.
wasn't sure if it was on my profile or not. It was like maybe it says single. I don't know. Because I don't
Yeah,
update
and I
those
think
things.
at the time it may have, but it doesn't really matter. My point is, some people appreciate the forwardness, some people don't, right?
Mhm.
Jay Shetty said, when a person continually reaches out to you like that, it doesn't necessarily mean they're needy, right? She just called it a stage 5 clinger. What it might mean is that they really appreciate you, they really enjoy you, and that they have a sense of wanting to connect with you. I've met a ton of women in the group who would absolutely adore getting the type of thing you just talked about, Emily. And I'm not calling it right or wrong, whatever it is. I just know, like, we're all so different that it does not matter what someone else thinks, right? My ability to make millions and millions and millions of dollars in sales, which I have done, or to CEO a sales and marketing company, or to become the human you're looking at, ladies, right now, 15 years ago was more anxious than both of you put together. I don't know if you have anxiety, but most of your
So
listeners
that's a lot,
understand, right?
probably.
Yeah, it was a lot, right? I isolated, stayed home, don't talk to anybody, don't want to be in front of groups. And now I've talked in front of 5,000 people. I'm talking live. I'm not even talking
Right.
podcasts, right? They hire me to come
Mhm.
in and motivate groups of salespeople. And the point I'm trying to make, my ability to live my best life comes down to one thing: my ability to separate what I think about me versus what you think about me.
Mm,
Pure and simple. So in your examples, Emily, you mentioned like you come up with a whole bunch of scenarios of what's going on and the typical reaction, male and female alike. This is not gender based. Is what did I do? What did I say? How come they don't like me? Something must be wrong with me. What's going on here? I thought they were really into me. So the shock value of it not aligning with what I'm expecting or hoping creates this disengagement of like exactly what you just said. I'm not going to get intimate early and often. I'm not going to open myself and be vulnerable because I don't want to get hurt, right? We're great creatures of comfort. We don't want to be in pain. And so essentially, if I don't want to be in pain, I can't risk liking somebody else and finding myself in pain. And I could tell you full on, I hate when I like someone a lot because
mm,
my experience tells me they're going to leave. I'm
mm,
not going to get with them. Something is going to come up. I'm not going to find that bond that I'm seeking. But I can tell you for sure, I know exactly what I'm looking for. I've spent a great amount of time making that list, and it's not about someone else. It's about how I am. Who am I in that connection? Am I someone who laughs more? Am I someone who feels like he can be himself around that person? And I made a
mm,
conscious decision. What is the problem with asking people on a date? Right? For every no, I'm closer to a yes. It's the same as freaking sales, right? For every time I'm persistent and someone says, boy, you're just too persistent or you're just too forward for me, my head goes, well, thank God I found that out now. Because I'm not going to be any less persistent or less forward as
yeah.
you get to know me.
So I agree with everything you just said. And
Victory!
yeah, well, I have a clarification, and I think we can bring it around full circle, and like it still fits the points that you're making. Exactly. But so I do want to clarify that, like, when I was talking about the stage 5 clinger thing, like, it depends on the context as well. And this was in the context of I had not met this person in person.
100%.
So it was like it was more like a suspicion kind of thing. Like, you couldn't possibly know that you like me that much, you know, in this situation kind of thing. So, and I don't know if that's what you were trying to connect to, like, you know, people try, they get rejected, and so then they pull back from that intimacy or vulnerability. Um, and I don't think it applies in that situation, but it also brings us back to the point of, like, the ultra processed relationship, because it adding that digital layer makes it harder to even discern, like, where the person is coming from. Is this person coming from a genuine place of, like, they're just really interested in me and they want to communicate this much, or, you know, are we dealing with something, you know, we're almost like, especially as women, we're almost like forced to be in this little more guarded place,
Absolutely.
you know, because of the Me Too, you know, stuff to consider. And just, yeah, with the digital landscape, like, how even with the blue check or whatever, how really unverifiable things are in that environment.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Dick pics is a real thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
So
like,
I hate, it's the worst.
just to be
I'm
down
sorry.
to
As a
earth
nurse,
about it.
like, I've seen enough. Nobody, no nurse wants to see that in isolation. Like, that's just clinical. It's not. It's not even sexy at that point. Just a pro tip for you,
Yeah.
for y'all.
I can hide behind a screen
Yeah,
without accountability.
yeah.
Just imagine you were standing in front of me and I gave you a real live dick pic. My ass would be in jail.
Right, right. That's just called public.
Yeah. But people think it's normal behavior, at least a lot of men, right?
Mm-hmm.
And speaking on behalf of the species, I don't do everything right. I don't say everything right. I try to do my best to be the best version of myself. But essentially, there are a ton of men who are so afraid of rejection that they just put it right out there to as many people as they can and hope that one sticks. And that's marketing, right? I can email 10,000 people today for very little money to create sales leads, but the goal is for 2 to 3% to actually get back, which is like 200 out of 10,000. That would make me super excited. And so essentially where it comes to this online thing, and I know, Lisa, the focus was, okay, how do we turn it around and we bring it closer? And again, I want to hear your take on all of this since I'm the guest and I'm now running the podcast.
I think this is fantastic.
Essentially, like the amount of rejection that we are unable to handle as a group of people, has created things like vibe. What's the vibe? Well, who cares what the vibe is? What do I want? Does this person at least somehow represent in who they seem to be, like someone that I want? And is the same true of me for them? Right? So I'm a very good listener. I don't listen with my ears. I listen with my heart. Right? I'm extremely thoughtful, considerate. I'm also very passionate. That means sometimes my voice will get raised. I'm kind of a kook in public. I like to make fun, make jokes. I was out with someone who said to me, that server has a lot of people to serve and you're really distracting them. And I was just like, I don't know. She seems to be enjoying the banter and thanking me for it. And I could very clearly see this is not going to be a long-term thing of us being able to hang together, right? But I'm not willing to go like, okay, swipe left, like we had dinner, see you later, right? It just I'm going to say it to that person. And that's what really lacks. That's what you were talking about. It sounded to me, Emily, like I'm going to ask them, hey, why have things changed? Is there something that is different for you? And I just want the listening audience to know this, right? Because we're not currently on YouTube. When you said stage 5 clinger, my smile went wide because I have been the stage 5 clinger because I know what I want. I go for what I want, and it's connection. I'm lonely as they come. But there's nothing wrong with that. We think that's such a problem. And people are not willing to talk about what it is they're seeking. And then folks like us get the response, well, when you love yourself more, someone will love you. I'm like, did you just pull that off a bumper sticker out of your behind?
I would argue that it's exactly the opposite. That because when people ask the question like, "Why are you still single?" it's always posed as like a negative, right? And definitely in my last, couple of years of this, I'm like, it's not negative at all. Not saying that I don't want a relationship in my life, but like, it is because I love and respect myself so much now that I would not, I would find it more of a waste of time to entertain someone who was not, who, when I'm with that person, I was not living up to my own standards of self love and self respect, right? That would be way worse than just remaining single for whatever indefinite amount of time.
At the Conscious Collaboration Podcast, we are proud affiliates of Atapa medical grade red light therapy devices. Red light therapy boasts a long list of clinically proven benefits, many that I and many of my clients have experienced firsthand. You can be sure that you'll be able to train harder, recover faster, and sleep better with Atapa red light therapy. Visit myatapa.com, myatapa.com, or use the link in our Instagram bio to shop with the code COLLAB15, that's COLLAB 15, for a discount on your device.
So I think that can be true. I think that people can get into a lot of failed relationships. I think I was doing this before because, when their self-love and self-respect is in a worse place. But then I think it works often the other way once you reach a certain point in your sort of self-development process, which everybody should be in one, right?
Continually, forever. I don't think anyone's like, okay, now I'm fully developed, so I can date now. Like,
no, it's like
always something.
It's a lifestyle. It's a lifelong thing. But there was certainly a point where I was not making relationship decisions from that place, right? I was just making relationship decisions from wanting to have a relationship in my life, and that would extend things out for an ungodly, unnecessary amount of time with people that it was just never going to work with.
There's a lot of people who think they've arrived, Lisa. It's funny you say that, right? We all should. There's a lot of folks who think that they've arrived and don't realize that you can't spot self-deception by yourself. Right? So these days, denial is more than a river in the Mediterranean. It is alive, it is well, and it runs rampant in the single community of this age, where people will say all the time, oh, but I'm over that. And the key isn't over or not over. Who cares? Right? The key is the judgment about still being, I'm never going to be over the deaths of my brother, the death of my sister-in-law, the death of my cousin, my mother. I'm not going to be over being in a 1-year relationship back in 22. And she looked at me and she said, you know what? I'm moving out in a week. This last year has been a mistake and a waste. And my head was going, I thought we were growing closer. Now, we hadn't had sex in 6 months, and that was by my choice because I wanted to be emotionally connected with someone who was pretty much um, using Fort Knox for her emotions, super garden. And so the alignment of joy and peace and love and relationship was never going to happen. But essentially, that came as a shock, and it forced me into like, okay, am I going to grow forward? Am I going to grow backwards? Or am I just going to go, well, this had nothing to do with me and I'm great and I'm cool? Like, I still have a lot to figure out, and that will only end when I'm dead. So, folks who believe they've arrived, it's wonderful. And I hear them all the time, and that's really hard for me. I'm much more attracted in the sense of someone who's like, yeah, I'm really screwed up. And here's all the things that it is. I'm like, oh, wow, I can relate to that. Now we have stuff to talk about, right? Versus someone who says, oh, I know everything and I'm good. Okay. So how are we going to grow together if you're completely formed and I'm still growing? And again, I just wanted to please forgive me for this, for the people who can't see, like the smile on your face, Emily, when you're describing your experiences and the joy with which you're communicating, like you are a lovely soul, right? Because I just don't want people, this is just me, right? I could see it where you're like, no, I didn't mean stage 5 clinger. Like, you know what I mean? Like that person is that's from a movie. They're stage 5 clingers. Like there are like I get it all the time. In the singles
really
group.
good at movie references. So, to
What
make
movie
things
is it?
relatable.
What movie?
What
Stage
movie
five.
is Stage 5 Clinger from? Oh, I know.
I know.
What? I don't.
No?
Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they're mostly Will Ferrell movies, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie's Wedding Crasher, Owen Wilson.
Yes.
What's his face? The tall guy.
I remember that tall guy.
Vince
Yeah.
Vaughn. Vince Vaughn.
Yeah,
Vince
that's
Vaughn.
it. There you go. Okay, so Lisa, what
am I thinking through all this?
well, no, like you said you're with someone.
Yes.
And what was it about him that separated him that gave you the availability to take down the walls and be intimate? Or maybe I'm assuming
I mean,
something.
I'll say it's a continual process for me to be able to take down walls, even though I've been dating the same person for 4 years. I think it's more
Holy shnikes!
Yeah, I'm a hard nut to crack. Feedback about me dating me previously or in relations with me previously is, and you two know me, even though Keith, we've only known each other a short while, I very much wear my heart on my sleeve, and I like to make light of things, and I'm told I'm very, good to open up around, but conversely, I'm not like I don't like to cry in front of people. I will laugh things off. It's hard for me to, until recently, until I'll say within the last decade, I can come across very cold and guarded, even though that's probably not really how I am. So my relationship with my boyfriend, really came from a place of curiosity. Because I started to realize not everyone's going to love in the same way that I do. But I love Emily, and she accepts me for my stage 5 clingerness.
You have never tried to force me into a hug.
I think I tried to hug you one time.
No, hugging is okay. I'm not anti-hug. Yes. I'm anti-forced hug.
Forced hugs, right.
Yeah,
I'm not a forced hugger. I will ask for consent.
Yeah.
In that, yes, I think we're very much the same in that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think this, I was married. I was in a relationship for almost 15 years. I had 2 children with someone. And I know, just like you said, Keith and Emily, about, you learn there's things that you could do better. In life in general, I think we're all, and all of our listeners are very growth oriented individuals. And we see ourselves like, moving into our midlives, many of us into a full evolution, revolution. Like we're on a path, right? So, I mean, for me, I kind of wore my freak flag on the outside, very much like I was on the dating apps, but I was very much like the weirdest version of me that I could be on any date that I went on, and they turned out great. And I don't get a lot of, I've never gotten dick pics, by the way. I'm not asking, don't send me anybody out there.
All of a sudden, your instant messenger is going to be flooded.
Oh gosh, no, guys, no, thank you. But I mean, I've been treated very well in the dating scene, and I figured like if I put my most authentic, weirdest self out there and talk to the guys I date, just like I do with Emily here on this podcast, like, just to be as free as I can be, to be myself, that I'm like, I feel like in business, especially like I was in the corporate world for so long, and I know you both know a little about that too. I felt like sometimes I was having to wear a different persona. So like it took a long time to deprogram for that. And I think a lot of things I'm on that continual learning, and like, how can I say the thing that's uncomfortable to say, to Emily's point? Like, I want to be respectful of my time, of my partner's time. And like, for me to say the hard or the uncomfortable thing, it's hard, it's brave for everybody, but it's like, it's an act of love to do that. To say the hard thing, to even if it's uncomfortable, and see how that's received, see how people hold space for you. I don't necessarily think people need to agree with me all the time. And I need to, that was something in a intimate relationship that I think has gone very well this time. You said it too, Keith, like there's been times where you ask people out or you get rejected within a relationship. So you're like, maybe I can't say that again. And on the female side of it, it's like,
yeah, if somebody's going to reject you for something that
right.
is a part of your reality,
right,
whether that's your personality or then that's not licensed to just go be a dickhead,
Not gonna, yes,
and try to present yourself, that kind of thing. But
yeah,
but if somebody is turned off or put off or afraid of something that is inherently you or your world, you want to know that as quickly as possible,
as soon as possible. So yeah,
alignment, like
absolutely. And to that point, like the few people I dated when I got back into the dating world, like there was nothing. I wasn't like, oh, I got the ick, or like this person was terrible, or he treated me badly, or whatever. They ended up being fine. It just, I didn't see there being a growth path forward. Like it just wasn't, the curiosity maybe, or like the acceptance wasn't there. But it wasn't like I rejected that person because of any specific, it wasn't rejection. Like I would probably be fine talking to any or hanging out with any of them today. So
I'm so glad you said that, because rejection is such a big word, right? That we take so seriously. And essentially rejection has nothing to do with me. Once I realized that rejection is simply a choice for self, that I've rejected a lot of people. And I'm not one in desire to hurt anybody's feelings.
Right.
But I'm not one to hold myself accountable for their feelings either.
Right.
That's the neat thing about being secure, right? We know attachment styles, and I'm a very secure person. I do have my insecurities, but I'm an extremely secure person, to the point where I know for sure 99.8, maybe 99.7 of society is not going to be compatible with me.
Right,
It's supposed
exactly.
to be that way. Yeah.
Right.
And that's what makes it so special when it
Right.
happens.
Right.
But I
Yes.
hear so many people take the no's
Personal.
and put them in a place. The thing I can't stand hearing the most, right? And this is as a person who's an admin of a singles group. There's 16,000 members, but there's probably 1,000 active people watching the information, being a part of it. Okay. And so my experience tells me that so many of them say this over and over. Oh, I'm good being single. I'm happy being single. And I'm like, then why aren't you living on an island by yourself with nobody else around, including your children, including your family, including your job? The idea that I'm happy being single, while everyone else can portray it as much as they want, I know as a truth seeker is bullshit.
I think
I'm not unhappy
push back
being
on that a little
single.
bit. I'm
Yeah.
gonna push back on that a little bit. I think
Okay.
you can be both. I think it can be both. I think you can and should be very happy being single because when you do enter into a relationship, you want to already be a happy person,
100%.
you know, but maybe the way you're saying it is like the intention behind saying something like that. Like,
Well, this is
if
where we
somebody's
get
saying,
to.
I'm
Go
happy
ahead.
being single, like, I don't want a relationship. But I think it can be both. I think you can be happy being single and also want a relationship.
Most of the time when I hear I'm happy being single, it's in the context of I don't want a relationship,
Yeah.
not I love my life the way it is and I would
Yeah.
like to have someone else in it.
Yeah.
With that being said, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Describe your perfect relationship in 10 words.
Oh, gosh. Good luck, Emily.
Should I start playing some Jeopardy music? Do, 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 do.
Yeah, I have sound effects.
The first word that's coming to my mind is complimentary. I guess I'm not going to make a sentence because that would be a little wasteful of words. Or was the idea to be in a sentence? Okay, I might go over my words, but I'll just act like I'm in the express lane and like, oops, I got 12 items.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's got a relationship sun pass.
we compliment each other. We elevate each other. And we keep our individual essence intact.
Okay, love it. Next question. Are you happy being single?
Yes.
Okay, final question. What would you give to have those 10 words in your life?
What would I give? Like,
I mean, how much would that mean to you?
I mean, I don't feel like there's anything in my life currently, it's like anything, but wouldn't sacrifice, you know, the things that I have in my life that bring me joy in order to have a relationship.
Totally. Let me rephrase the question. How badly would you love to have the 10-word explanation?
I would love to have that.
I would love for you to have that.
Just to bring it to a little bit of a spiritual lean, I guess. I've also, you know, kind of given it to God that as long as I'm taking the actions, as long as I'm not sitting on my couch watching Netflix every day, hoping that, you know, the UPS man is going to come knock on my door and you know, come rescue me on the white horse or whatever. Like I'm
Well, that's a
putting
great
myself out
UPS
there
guy.
in the world.
What can Brown do for you?
Right.
I say that to women all the time because for those who don't know, I'm brown because they can't see me.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Your episode is going to be the first one that goes on YouTube because you've referenced it so many times.
Especially
I've
because
muted it.
here's another movie reference. It's one of the Legally Blonde. I think it's the original Legally Blonde, right? Where Jennifer Coolidge has her UPS crush guy. Yeah,
Yes.
he teaches her the bend and
Yes.
anyway. So that must be where I got that from. But the point was, I am living my life as a person who is open to having a relationship. And doing the things that put me in a position for that to be possible, but also not like, I'm not like, God, like I'm not, and I have been this way, so I know that I can say that I'm not now, but I'm not like lonely and pining at any point. If I have a Saturday night home alone now, like that's cool. Like
Do you mean you're watching the movie or you're at home by yourself?
wait, what? Watching it.
A Saturday night with Home Alone. I got confused.
Oh, that would be a great Saturday night, especially right now. Yeah, I would totally watch that movie. No, this weekend was well, I'm watching the Diddy documentary while it's still available for us, and still just casually trying to get over the fact that we now know exactly pretty much what happened to Tupac and Biggie. Like we just, by the way, if y'all haven't,
I watched all
I
4
haven't seen the whole
episodes
thing.
in a row
like
yesterday. So
watch the Diddy documentary, your whole world will be blown. So, but yeah, no, I what are we talking about? Whether I'm happy single, that I don't get those like loneliness pangs. Like I am, if that is not what is meant for me, right? Like I'm open to what is meant for me in the future. I sure hope that it's not meant for me to be, to go forever without that. But if, I'm here for whatever is meant for me on a spiritual level, basically.
I'm just trying to take the question full circle, right? Where we talked about I'm happy being single, and Keith, I'm talking in the third person now, makes this proclamation that people say, "Oh, I'm happy being single," and a lot of them are in denial. What I'm also looking at is 3 business owners who are on a podcast willing to be vulnerable and intimate to the world, right? I know this is going to be heard by 5 or 6 million people. And so we're open to vulnerability and we're open to our real feelings. Whereas there's a lot of folks in the 9 to 5 category, work for someone else, hate their job, don't have any designs on 2026 being bigger, better, growth mindset. There's a lot of scarcity and lack, like you talked about in your last podcast, Lisa. And so when they look at being single, there's this shroud over, oh, I'm happy being single, but it's said with the kind of disdain of like, I'm not going to compromise and the rest of my life sucks already. And so I hear this all the time. The following statement: I'm not dating right now. I'm not ready to date. I don't know. I'm not ready to wake up most days, but I just got to get up and do it anyways or choose, right? Like a date and dating are 2 different things, and being open to the idea of skydiving for me is okay, cool. But I'm terrified of heights and I'm not likely to go skydiving anytime soon. But to talk about it, think about it, grow with it. And if I'm in a relationship and she says, trust me, you can skydive, I'll be there next to you, I'm fucking skydiving. That's relationship, right? Overcoming fears, having the growth and the design on living a life I didn't think was possible, but also having that support that can be seen and heard in other places, but I don't know about felt. It doesn't like if it felt the same to have a best friend or a brother or a sister or whoever support and be a ride or die like a partner, there'd be a lot less partnerships. There's just something that's seemingly so different about that it keeps singles coming back. I mean, there could be like 12 feet of snow in Florida tomorrow, and singles will crawl through it for an opportunity to find those 10 words or less.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing, except when they get there and go, oh, the Pacific, and then they this, and oh, he texts me too much, or oh, she doesn't, this, and she's not that. And it's like, I don't know. ChatGPT
I think if you're going to
me
say that I'm happy being single thing, you just have to, like, if you mean it, if you really mean it, like you can break it down and be like, yeah, like that's what I really mean. Then it's a superpower. Otherwise, and I've been both. I'm happy being single people, because whenever I said it before, it was defensive. It was just because of that whole saying in the first place is like, why are you still single? It's like, and if you're not truly happy being single, then yeah, I think the instinct is to get defensive about it and come at that from a defensive place. But if you can find a place where you mean that, you will understand that that it doesn't mean that you're closed off to people. It doesn't mean that you don't want a relationship. And why it's a superpower is because you will then, and this is different from getting the ick from a Velcro wallet, but your standards, the ones that protect your values, will then be unwaverable. Whereas if you're the just like defensive, I'm happy being single person, that ain't the case. If you then somehow meander your way into a relationship and you're like, okay, well, I better hold on to this one. So maybe I don't like that he's doing this behavior, but I'm just going to kind of be cool and, not rock the boat. So yeah, I think you're exactly right in what you're saying. And whether you're coming from that defensive place or from that, like, I mean that place, completely changes the whole experience of dating.
Can we write down the date and time? Tuesday, December 16th at 12:27 p.m. A woman told me I was exactly right.
Yeah,
that's happened once. Once.
I don't believe
it's on video now. It's recorded.
I like a lot of what you just said, like the both of you. Keith, I like that you drew a line of connection between even the vulnerability that we face as business owners, and a lot of our listeners are in that change maker thought leader, like we're getting comfortable with being, really raw and vulnerable in our businesses, in our relationships. And if we're not doing it in one, we're probably not doing it right in the other. And that's a whole other episode that we could do there too.
I think we could definitely do multi-parts to this episode.
Yeah, we did.
Moving forward for sure.
Well, I'll be looking for some checks in the mail then.
Yeah.
Yes.
So will we.
lots of
we'll let you know if any of those come.
We're going to have several commercials within this episode just based on how deep we went. But I think it's really relevant and really necessary, because this is something that keeps coming back into each of our perspectives, whether we're living it or whether we're hearing it in our circles, social circles. And we've been talking about it leading up until having this conversation with you, Keith. It's just, this past year felt very much like the stripping away of things that could be relationship boundaries with people. It could be like, coming out as like the next version of you to the people around you. It could be, so many different things that we were shedding and letting go of. And now, like, to truly feel that you're connecting with people in a very intentional way. And that means your closest relationships, and how they go about. And Emily, I just really love, your 10 words on the 10 item shopping list that you went over. But I really I really love that because, that's one thing I think as the conscious collaboration, you want to maintain yourself, you want to grow yourself, and then also together in a way that creates a life that, to Keith, your point, you might not even be aware of until you're in a relationship that you might consider jumping out of a plane or it could be anything from jumping out of a plane to creating something together or doing something unique. You don't even know that's a
recorded
possibility.
too, by the way.
Yeah, you don't even know.
That's the commitment
And I would jump out of a plane.
skydiving.
Yes, she's writing that down. But
Does she jump out of planes? Do you jump out of planes?
I have never.
Oh, okay.
I will not jump out of a plane. I can tell you that right now.
Well, I would
I'm
jump out of a
sweating
plane if
thinking
Emily
about it.
asked me to.
Oh, that's really nice.
I won't.
And that's why I
Don't you
said
worry.
it.
Now that you said that.
It sounds like we're winding down. May I close with
Yeah.
4 quick thoughts?
Yes.
May I close with 1,700 thoughts? 4 quick thoughts. Here we go. Okay. Number 1, ChatGPT told me that it takes 300 texts to feel some sense of connection, but it takes 3 minutes in person to feel that same sense.
Ooh. What's the
Okay.
site for that? Like, where's it getting that from?
Sometimes.
Well, I mean, my Facebook's public. I put that conversation up, but essentially
okay.
it is a back and forth.
Yeah.
And that is, what I align as the basis of Singles in Tampa. We're an organic meeting group.
Yeah.
We're not
I mean, that's using
back
all
and
of your
forth.
senses. Like, that's
Yep.
using the sites, like everything. Your
Okay.
intuition.
Thought number 2, I heard this once. It was extremely profound. I don't have business relationships. I don't have personal relationships. I don't have romantic relationships. I don't have family relationships. I just have relationships. And as long as I'm the same person in all of them, I don't have to think of them differently at all.
Boom.
Something to keep in mind. I'm completely blanking on thought number 3. It might come back to me because I just went, okay, I got 4 things I want to say before I close. So it'll come back to me. Okay, thought number 4. How do you say your last name? Zaunbrecher?
That's probably how a German person would say it.
How do you say it?
Yeah, Zonbrecker.
Zaunbrecher?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're single in the world and you're not asking Emily Zaunbrecher on a date, you're an idiot.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Okay. Well, between
You might
this
be smart.
podcast and the next one, I don't know what she's going to say, Lisa, but I'm going to ask Emily on a date.
Oh, jeez. Way to put me on the spot. I don't know.
I didn't say you had to answer now. You can answer offline.
Because I
No
won't.
matter what you say, I'm coming back to the next podcast. Otherwise,
This is
I'd
a
be full of
first.
shit.
Yes.
But yeah, like spirit and juju and opportunity for alignment and growth, those are everything in this world. It's like if I have an opportunity to make $10 million in my business next week and I don't jump into it out of fear, no wonder my business is held back, right? So essentially, that was thought number 3. I have to remember, right? I'm the captain of my ship. All I can do is ask for the universe to provide. And if I don't give it a destination like GPS, right? None of us go anywhere without GPS these days. Try using GPS without telling it where you're going and see what happens. And so essentially, I have to give it the destination, like your 10 words, and then let the universe bring it to me. But I have to get in the car and turn the engine on and step on the gas. And you just heard me do it in front of your entire listening group.
It is true. There's a good 4 thoughts. This might be the greatest 4 thoughts I've heard wrapped up in our podcast. Oh, that was fun. You guys.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. I've certainly enjoyed this opportunity. I could do this another 2-3 hours with you ladies.
Yes.
Anytime
we'll have you back for sure. Yeah.
Anytime I'm invited. I'm certainly grateful. I'd certainly love to, pick your minds business wise, get a little bit more into I know the feng shui, and then my eyes are closed right now because I can see it in what's the name of your business, Emily?
Technically Studio Wellness LLC.
Okay.
With a couple different
But there was a name that you put in the message, Lisa.
The studio,
Iron Yogi?
Iron Yogi Fitness.
Okay, the studio, but it was EAUX.
Yes, I'm from Louisiana.
Oh, okay. Je parle français, je suis né au Canada. So, that's
We're like
why.
fake French.
What's that?
We're like fake French.
Oh, haha. What do you mean?
My actual French friends. Well, my one actual French friend is like, this is not the word. I'm like, I know, it's a thing that we do with the O sound. We make our English words. He's like, it's not funny.
Well, you guys should be pushing your brilliance and making sure that the audience knows there's more ways you can serve them than just thoughts and ideas. And I'm looking very closely into both. There was some kind of yoga I read in the thing, and I'm like looking this up. I'm like, what is this? What do you mean, holding a position for 5 minutes? What are you, nuts?
No.
That's what ran across my head. Like, we'll see. I mean, if it's lying down on my back, I'll hold that for 60 minutes. No problem.
It's a pose.
It is a pose.
One of my favorites.
Yes.
Is my bed underneath it with a pillow and Netflix in front of me? Then I'm really killing it.
Do a little yoga nidra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you again for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. And also, we'll make sure that we put your information in the description so people can find you. And if they want to have a conversation with you, you're inside of our closed and private Facebook group now. So you are welcome to say, Keith, whatever you want to share and continue the conversation in there, because we love that. And we hope that you consciously collaborate with people in that group, as Emily and I have. One day it's on our list to have a celebratory party, the Conscious Collaboration podcast party, with all of our amazing guests. Because you guys all need to know each other ASAP in an in-person way.
Yeah.
I know a really good DJ for that party.
Ooh, that's right. Yes. And I also want to thank your Fireflies AI for being here and joining us. He's quiet now. But...
Hey, Fireflies, did you enjoy the conversation? Hey, Fireflies, what did you take away from this conversation? What did you take away from this conversation?
He's on mute.
Absolutely nothing.
He's taking a break. Hey, Fireflies. What did you take away from this conversation?
He's like, there's no way I'm getting into this shit. I think I just heard Keith ask a woman on a date.
I think 3 minutes of genuine in-person connection beats 300 texts. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the foundation of real intimacy. Being authentically yourself, setting firm boundaries, and understanding rejection as self-choice rather than failure transforms how we connect. That's powerful.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks. Yeah, we'll have Fireflies come back next time too. That was amazing. But yeah, this has been really great. You guys all know where to find us. In fact, we'll talk to you in 5, probably.
We will. Talk to you in 5. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank y'all so much for listening to our podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends so they can join our circle of collaboration on this journey. You can find us on Instagram at Conscious Collaboration Podcast on Spotify, iTunes, and Audible, to name a few. Please join us next time for another deep dive into how you can live life in more alignment, mind, body, and business. Send us your questions and comments in our DMs or email us at consciouscollaborationpodcast@gmail.com. See you in 5 minutes.